Welcome to the Courtside Talk with Eric. My name is Eric Wilson, and today I will tell you the sad story about Len Bias. Let's get to it. Len Bias was born Leonard Kevin Bias on November 18th in 1963 in Landover, Maryland. Now, this isn't the end of the story. Len Bias would eventually be one of the most promising prospects for the NBA. This young man was arguably better than Michael Jordan in college. He had an extraordinary game, which was filled by his beyond-this-world athleticism and intensity. Not only was he an athletic specimen, but he was an all-around, overall baller. In his 4 years at Maryland, he averaged 17 points and 6 rebounds per game. He also accomplished being a two-time consensus All-American, two-time ACC Player of the Year, two-time All-ACC, two-time All-ACC Tournament Team, and ACC Tournament MVP. Len Bias was on his way to becoming an NBA great. With the second pick of the 1986 NBA Draft, the Boston Celtics select Len Bias of the University of Maryland. He had done it. Len Bias had done what others couldn't and would not accomplish, and that was getting drafted. The Celtics had just fought with the Lakers in the NBA Finals and lost, and with picking Len Bias, many thought everything was complete. ESPN journalist Jackie McMillan said, "It seemed like everything was in place. Then it all collapsed." 2 days later, Len Bias would be pronounced dead from cardiac arrhythmia, which is induced by a cocaine overdose. It was said that Bias left the Maryland campus at 2 a.m. and drove to an off-campus gathering and returned to his dorm between 2:30 and 3 a.m. And for the next hours, Bias and longtime friend Brian Chibble and several teammates did cocaine in the dorm. His teammates reported that Bias had a seizure and collapsed while talking with teammate Terry Long. Later, Brian Tribble called 911 at 6:32, saying Bias was unconscious. After all attempts to revive him were unsuccessful, Bias was pronounced dead at Leyland Memorial Hospital in Riverdale, Maryland at 8:55 a.m. The world of sports was shocked and saddened by the loss of Len Bias. This tale should be a cautionary tale for others in the future. So much talent and potential was not necessarily wasted, but lost. Now, in the history of the NBA, there has been a lot of what-ifs. The Len Bias death is probably one of the biggest what-ifs in that history. Now, there's a lot to unpack here. We got the Celtics. They ended up still winning the championship with a record of 67-15 and defeating the Houston Rockets in the NBA Finals. But past that, let's look at Larry Bird. He was entering one of the worst parts of his career as he was getting older and his back issues started to rear its ugly head. With Len Bias, a young 22-year-old athletic specimen, maybe he could let those minutes that Larry Bird, needed to rest, and maybe his longevity would have not been destroyed. But there's another one, Michael Jordan. We know him as one of the greatest players of all time. 6 rings as they call him, but would he still be Michael Jordan if his greatest college rival was beating him in the Eastern Conference? Would he still be Michael Jordan? Would it be Len Bias that we think of as the GOAT, or would it still be Michael Jordan? This Len Bias death has really been on my mind lately because it seems like one of the most cautionary tales in NBA history. It only takes one time to do something wrong. But the Len Bias death has really impacted the NBA even till now. So what if? What if the promising 22-year-old did not go to that dorm that night? Just something to think about. Well, that's all, folks. I appreciate you guys for listening. I really wanted to make this video since I was younger, watching the 30 for 30 about his life. And I decided to do a little research, and I just think everyone needs to hear the story. A lot of people do not know the story of Len Bias and how tragic it really is. And thank you guys for listening. Go ahead and check out my blog, check out my podcast. They're all linked in the description. And you guys remember, Courtside Talk with Eric, doing sports the 757 way. Have a great day.